There's a particular kind of pain that comes from looking back at your life and feeling like you gave the best years to the wrong things. It's a pain that sits in your chest, heavy and persistent, whispering that you've run out of time, that the good part of life has already passed you by, that everyone else figured it out sooner, moved faster, chose better, and now you're left holding years that feel empty when you thought they'd be full. Maybe you spent a decade in a relationship that was slowly dying, pouring your love into someone who couldn't receive it, watching your youth slip away in the hope that things would change. Or perhaps you poured yourself into a career that never fulfilled you, climbing a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Maybe you lost years to fear that kept you frozen in place, to addiction that stole your clarity, to caring for others while your own dreams quietly died in the waiting room of your heart. I know this feeling. I've sat with it myself, and I've held the hands of thousands of people who felt it too. That sick sensation when you suddenly wake up and realize, where did the time go? How did I get here? Why didn't I start sooner? But here's what I've come to understand about time and about the universe and about those years you think you wasted. Something that changed everything for me, and I believe it will change everything for you too. The universe doesn't recognize wasted time because the universe doesn't make mistakes. Let that settle in for a moment. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Every single experience you've had, even the painful ones, even the ones that feel like detours or dead ends, has been shaping you, preparing you, teaching you things you couldn't have learned any other way. You needed to know what you now know. You needed to feel what you felt. You needed to become who you are right now, in this moment, reading these words. You see, we think of time as linear. We think it moves in one direction, and once a moment passes, it's gone forever. But the universe sees time differently. In the universe, nothing is ever lost. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. And your experiences, all of them are energy. They're still here. They're still working for you. When you spent those years in that relationship, you weren't just losing time. You were learning about love, about boundaries, about your own capacity to give. You were discovering what you will and won't accept. You were developing compassion. You were becoming someone who understands heartbreak, which means you're becoming someone who can help others through theirs. When you stayed in that career that didn't feed your soul, you weren't just marking time. You were building skills. You were learning resilience. You were earning the wisdom to recognize what matters to you. You were funding the next chapter of your life. You were proving to yourself that you can commit, you can persist, you can do hard things, which means you can do the thing that's calling to you now. Those years weren't wasted. They were invested, and the universe is about to pay you back with interest. But here's what you need to understand about how restoration works. The universe can't give you back yesterday. That's not how this works. Time only moves forward, but what the universe can do, what it will do when you align with it, is give you so much more in your tomorrows that your past becomes redeemed. When we talk about the universe giving back your years, we're not talking about literally reversing time. We're talking about something far more powerful. We're talking about the universe opening doors that compress decades of experience into moments of breakthrough. We're talking about synchronicities that bring you exactly the right people at exactly the right time. We're talking about opportunities that let you accomplish in months what you thought would take years. I've watched this happen over and over. The woman who started her business at 50 and built in 3 years what others take 20 to achieve. The man who found love at 60 and experienced more joy than in all his previous relationships combined. The person who began healing at 40 and transformed so completely that their entire family shifted along with them. This is what restoration looks like. Not going backward, but moving forward so powerfully that your past becomes a foundation instead of a prison. But, and this is crucial, Restoration doesn't happen automatically. It happens in partnership with you. The universe is always ready to restore, but you have to meet it halfway. You have to do your part. And your part is surprisingly simple, but it must be done daily. The daily practice that changes everything is deceptively simple, and it starts the moment you wake up. Every morning, before your feet touch the floor, before you check your phone, before the weight of the world settles back onto your shoulders, you're going to do 3 things, 3 small acts that signal to the universe: I'm ready, I'm willing, I trust you to restore what was lost. First, place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth of your own palm. Feel your heart beating underneath. This heart that has carried you through everything. This heart that didn't give up even when you wanted to. And you say out loud or silently, I forgive myself for every choice I think I got wrong. You see, the universe can't restore what you're still punishing yourself for. Restoration requires forgiveness, not because you don't matter, but because you matter so much. Not because your pain wasn't real, but because your future is more important than your past. Every morning, you forgive yourself for staying too long, for leaving too soon, for not knowing then what you know now, for being human and imperfect and learning as you went. You forgive yourself the same way you'd forgive a dear friend, a child, someone you loved who was doing their absolute best with what they had at the time, because that's who you were, someone doing their best. Second, you speak this truth into your morning. The point of power is always in the present moment. This is one of the most important principles I've ever taught, and it's especially crucial for you right now. You cannot change your past by dwelling in it. You cannot reclaim lost years by staying angry about them. Your power, all of it, every ounce is right here, right now. This moment, this breath, this choice. When you wake up and say the point of power is always in the present moment, you're pulling all your energy out of yesterday and bringing it into today. You're gathering yourself. You're becoming present. You're stepping into the only place where transformation can actually occur. Your past has no power over you unless you keep giving it your present. Those years are gone, yes, but they took your energy with them only if you're still living there in your mind, replaying the scenes, rewriting the scripts, wishing things had been different. Bring yourself here, now, where your power lives. And third, you set an intention for restoration. You speak clearly to the universe about what you're calling in, not from a place of desperation or grasping, but from a place of openness and trust. You might say, Universe, show me how these years have prepared me for something beautiful, or I am open to opportunities that restore and multiply my time, or simply, I trust divine timing. All that is meant for me is coming. The specific words matter less than the energy behind them. You're declaring yourself available for restoration. You're signaling that you're no longer identified with loss, but aligned with return. These 3 things, every single morning, hand on heart, forgiveness spoken, point of power claimed, intention for restoration set. It takes maybe 90 seconds. But those 90 seconds will change your life, because here's what happens when you do this daily. First, you'll notice that the heaviness around your past begins to lift, not all at once, but gradually, like fog burning off in morning sun. The regret that used to grip your chest will start to loosen. You'll catch yourself thinking about those years with less pain and more understanding. Then, you'll start to see connections you couldn't see before. You'll realize that the skills you learned in that wrong career are exactly what you need for what you're building now. You'll understand that the heartbreak you survived made you wise enough to recognize real love when it appears. You'll notice that the years you spent caring for others developed in you a capacity for compassion that is actually your greatest gift. The universe will start revealing how it was working in your favor all along, how it was setting things up, how it was protecting you from what wasn't meant for you, how it was preparing you for what is. And then the synchronicities begin, seemingly random encounters that turn into exactly what you needed, books that fall open to the precise message, conversations that unlock doors, opportunities that appear out of nowhere, perfectly timed, as if the universe was just waiting for you to be ready. This is restoration in action. This is the universe giving back your years by making your present and future so rich that your past becomes redeemed. I want you to understand something about the mathematics of this. When you do one small thing consistently, daily, it compounds, not just in the obvious ways, but in ways that multiply exponentially. One morning practice leads to a shifted mindset. That shifted mindset leads to a different choice. That choice leads to a new opportunity. That opportunity leads to a connection. That connection leads to a breakthrough. And suddenly you look back and realize that in 6 months, you've moved further than you did in 6 years. This is how the universe restores, not by giving you back the calendar days you spent, but by accelerating your growth, your opportunities, your joy so dramatically that you receive in compressed time what you thought would take a lifetime. I've seen people in their 50s accomplish more in 5 years than they did in the previous 30. I've watched people find love in their 60s that was deeper than anything they experienced in youth. I've witnessed people discover purpose in their 70s and impact thousands of lives they would never have reached if they'd started younger. The universe has no concept of too late. That's a human invention. That's fear talking. That's the ego trying to keep you small by convincing you that your window has closed. But you know what? Windows keep opening. Doors keep appearing. The universe is infinitely abundant, and it's always, always ready to say yes to someone who's ready to receive. So let's talk about what you're receiving, because this isn't just about feeling better about your past. This is about actively calling in restoration. When you do your morning practice, when you forgive and claim your power, and set your intention, you're actually shifting your energetic frequency. You're moving from the vibration of regret into the vibration of possibility. And the universe responds to frequency. It matches energy. When you're vibrating at the frequency of loss, you attract more experiences of loss. When you're vibrating at the frequency of restoration, you attract experiences of return, renewal, redemption. So as you move through your day after your morning practice, stay alert, stay open, notice what shows up, notice who reaches out, notice what you're drawn to. The universe is constantly sending you signals, offering you next steps, presenting you with little doorways. Your job is to notice them and walk through. Maybe you get a sudden urge to call an old friend, and that call leads to a business opportunity. Maybe you feel drawn to take a different route home, and you pass a sign that sparks an idea. Maybe you wake up thinking about a dream you abandoned, and instead of dismissing it like you used to, you take one small action toward it. These aren't coincidences. These are the universe responding to your daily practice. These are restoration in motion. And here's something important. Restoration doesn't always look the way you expect it to. You might be hoping the universe gives you back your years by letting you accomplish the specific dream you had when you were younger. But sometimes the universe knows that dream was too small for who you've become. Sometimes restoration looks like an entirely new direction you never imagined, something that fits the wisdom and depth you've gained. Stay open to that. Don't limit the universe by demanding it restore your life according to your old blueprints. Let it surprise you. Let it show you possibilities that match who you are now, not who you were then. I remember a woman I worked with who spent 20 years in a corporate career she hated, convinced she'd wasted her best years. When she finally left and started teaching yoga, she was devastated that she hadn't started at 25. But here's what happened. Because of those corporate years, she understood the stress and burnout her students were experiencing. She could speak their language. She knew their pain intimately, and she became the most sought-after teacher in her city, specifically for stressed professionals, because she'd walked their path. She could have never built what she built if she'd started at 25. She needed those wasted years to become who she needed to be to do her real work. That's restoration. That's the universe taking what looked like loss and revealing it as preparation. So as you do your daily practice, trust that the universe sees things you can't yet see. Trust that there's a bigger picture. Trust that you're right on time, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now, there will be mornings when you don't believe it, when the pain of regret is so strong that you can't imagine anything could redeem those years. When you look at your age, your circumstances, your missed opportunities, and forgiveness feels impossible. On those mornings, do the practice anyway. Place your hand on your heart anyway. Speak the words anyway. Set the intention anyway. You don't have to believe it fully for it to work. You just have to be willing. Willingness is enough. Willingness cracks open a door that belief can walk through later. And remember, this is a daily practice, not a one-time thing, not a weekend workshop, not something you do when you feel like it. Daily, every single morning, because restoration is built through consistency, through showing up for yourself even when it's hard, through choosing over and over again to align with possibility instead of staying stuck in regret. The universe is always broadcasting restoration, always sending signals of redemption, always offering you the next step forward. Your morning practice is how you tune in. It's how you adjust your receiver to pick up the frequency of return instead of the frequency of loss. And I promise you this, if you do this practice faithfully for 30 days, you will not be the same person you are right now. Something will shift. Something will open. Something that felt impossible will become possible. The universe is not punishing you for your past. It's not keeping score. It's not withholding blessings because you didn't start sooner or choose better. The universe is loving and generous and infinite in its capacity to restore. But you have to participate. You have to show up each morning and do your part. Forgive yourself. Claim your present power. Open to restoration. Do this and watch what happens. Watch how doors begin to open. Watch how the right people appear. Watch how opportunities find you. Watch how your past transforms from a source of pain into a source of wisdom. Watch how the years you thought were wasted become the very foundation of your greatest work, your deepest love, your truest purpose. The universe will give back your years, not by returning them, but by making what comes next so abundant, so rich, so perfectly aligned with who you've become, that you'll look back and realize every single year was necessary. Every single experience was preparing you. Every single moment was part of a divine plan that's bigger than you could have designed yourself. You haven't lost anything. You've been invested in. And the return is about to be extraordinary. Every morning when you open your eyes, you're being given a gift, another chance to choose differently, another day to align with restoration, another opportunity to let the universe show you what redemption looks like. Take it, use it, trust it. Place your hand on your heart and forgive yourself. Claim your power in this present moment. Open yourself to what's being restored in your life right now. The universe is ready. It's been ready all along. It's just been waiting for you to stop grieving what was and start receiving what is. Your years weren't wasted. They were invested. And the universe always, always pays back its investments with interest. Do the practice every morning. Watch what unfolds. And know that I'm here believing in your restoration until you can believe in it fully yourself. You are right on time. You always have been.